Hello, welcome to another video, and let's talk about Marathon. So last video I talked about Marathon a lot during my video while I was playing Call of Duty, and I really didn't show anything or talk about anything concrete. And in my post-nut clarity, I kind of had more thoughts on Marathon as a whole, good and bad things, potential things I should say, I guess, because we don't really know a lot. And we learned more. There was a Vidoc. I don't think I'm going to react to the Vidoc. I think this video is just going to be me reacting to the reveal trailer because it's a fucking banger. It has over 13 million views on YouTube combined over all the platforms apparently. It's the most viewed trailer of all the games, which is surprising because Spider-Man 2 was on it. But watch a reveal trailer and then kind of go over the news and stuff that has been released about the game, give my thoughts of what I think could be good with the game, and some things I'm a little worried about, but not fully worried about. But we'll see. But let's watch this reveal trailer. Oh god, the music is so fucking perfect. Man, I don't know how they made it look so good. I mean, I guess it is just a trailer, so that they could really make it look pretty. The plant, that looks so fucking pretty. Man. Just the cyberpunk kind of sci-fi design and art and everything, it just looks so good. The music fits so freaking perfect with it. And this shot is by far the best shot of the trailer. It goes down and then kind of melts into the... Now those are had me thinking a little weird if those are other runners, but I don't know. God, it looks so freaking good. It just kind of oozes charisma of futuristic sci-fi type of but also with some 90s vibes in there too, to I feel obviously to string back to the original Marathon games. I don't know if they're before my time even, so I've never touched an old Marathon game. Essentially, if you don't know what Marathon is, Bungie, it's not a new IP. Some people I saw on Twitter were calling it a new IP, and I feel like they just kind of didn't do much research, because you can look it up. I think Marathon might have been Bungie's first game, big game, I guess, maybe. It was around the time where first-person shooters were kind of really blowing up with Doom and such, I'm pretty sure, and then Marathon came out. It was a sci-fi shooter, and then Bungie pivoted off of Marathon into their biggest franchise they'll ever probably make. Excuse me. In Halo. And then when they were done with Halo, they pivoted off of Halo to Destiny, which turned into this huge explosion of a thing. And I think that's why Marathon now is getting so much hype, that Bungie is kind of almost rebooting it in a way, because they've came out and said, it's been tweeted, it was in the Vidoc, I'm pretty sure, it's not a direct sequel to the new games in any way. Obviously, I think the universe kind of ties into that universe in some way. I've heard some people think that maybe it's somewhat tied to the Destiny universe. I don't think that's the case at all. I think this is going to be its own separate thing. The new Marathon game, if I'm looking on Twitter, so I don't butcher anything, I don't want to have any fucking people yelling at me that I'm wrong or some BS. Essentially, it is a full PvP game. That's how they explained it. It's PvP focused. It's you or a group of 3 people going into a zone, arena type thing, a world, with a bunch of other people. Essentially, it's an extraction shooter. My thought instantly goes to Tarkov, Escape from Tarkov. Most people, I think, that's where it initially went, and I think with good reason. I think that's what they're trying to make people think of. And it's essentially a game where you get dropped into a specific world go about it. You collect loot, you can collect gear, resources, armor, weapons, and so forth. And then you get to an extraction point and you can leave with all the stuff that you actually collected. And if you die while in there, everything you dropped, you lose. Never played Tarkov. It's a very PC heavy game. I don't have a PC, obviously. So I've never really experienced the extraction shooter genre of games. I think Destiny, the first Destiny, kind of had a situation similar, but I didn't play, not Destiny, sorry. The Division. The Division 1 had a type of game mode similar in some ways, and I never played the Division either, so it is what it is. It is only launching on next gen, or current gen now, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PCs. It's fully cross-play and cross-save, which is pretty good. I'm glad that it's not an exclusive. I'm assuming because it's been in development for so long. I think they said 5 years already. There's so much work already behind it before Bungie was bought by Sony, and they want this game to have the most amount of population they can because it's fully PvP. They announced no single player campaign. I don't know, because it says player driven stories. I think a lot of that kind of mindset never turns out how developers think it will. And in the Vidoc, they kind of explained it, and they're like, oh, well, you have this loot, and you have the story of like, oh, I could have extracted, but I decided not to and get in a gunfight and get a little bit more loot, and then extract, stuff like that, like just gameplay stories. It's completely different because you have that in every single game you play, really. Even narrative-driven stories during the gameplay part, you're playing the game your way, and it's going to be probably different. It just feels like stuff like that isn't necessarily the biggest thing, especially to me. I don't know. I feel like the game could have some little bit of story, not necessarily like, oh, story missions or anything like that, more like in-game lore and Easter eggs that you kind of trail. And I think they probably will have that, where if you're in the thing and you find something, you can take it out, you can learn about it, and then you can go back and get something that's connected to it. Something like that I think would be passable, but we'll see, I guess. They also said Evolving Worlds. Who knows what that is. So some big news that did come out with the Vidoc that they released after the fact. It was just short. They didn't have a bunch to say, because they did mention that the game is very early in development, still considering where they want to be. They kind of said near the end of it that they're going to go dark for a while, and then the next time they announce anything, they're going to have gameplay to show, and that'll be close to release. My guess is next fall or 2025, if I had to be honest. They said that there will be dedicated servers for the game. I think that is a big deal, because if it's full PvP, any sort of lag or advantage type stuff that could be had, it will hurt the game immensely. They also said something about having world's first moments. I think that's more just to give Destiny players like a little nugget of, or like buzzword, because world's first raids in Destiny is such a big thing. But they said about unlocking rooms or certain zones in the world and stuff. Going into some thoughts now in my head about this that could be good. I'll start with good and then I'll go to the bad. Some good things is that Bungie is a very innovative developer if you look at their history. When Halo came out, it was like the fucking thing. It innovated first-person shooters and pushed it to an area that people didn't expect it to be. It changed the landscape of gaming. And then they pivoted from Halo to Destiny, which changed the landscape of gaming again. Whether or not you like Destiny, you can't look at it in a bad way, because it did live service so well after like a couple hiccups, obviously, that so many different games have pivoted to try and recreate that in some way, because it's so highly profitable. I'm hoping that with Marathon, they can push the extraction or PvP shooter type of genre that Marathon seems like it's being in, and innovate it in a degree that's going to push it and push gaming in a certain area for the better. I have hope because it's Bungie, because they've a track record that they can do that, but who knows. The game just looks amazing so far. Obviously, we'll see when gameplay and stuff comes out. Bungie's gunplay always has been really good, so I'm expecting the gameplay to be very fast-paced and very crisp. The shooting has always been really good in Bungie games. Now some things that are kind of like in the back of my head of like clouding my oh my god excitement. First big thing is this game going to be free to play or is it going to be a paid game? And I say that because it's talking about monetization as a whole with this, because if it's free to play, it's going to have a cash shop because obviously it's going to have to make money. And I think that might lead to some problems down the road just because having a cash shop means it can only be cosmetic things, obviously. Because if it's not, it's just having pay to win in an extraction shooter. It'd be unfair. A lot of people will hate it. They won't play it. It's as simple as that. Like, this genre of gaming and battle royales, if there's pay to win to it, fastest way to get people not to play it. If they think they have to spend money to even have a chance to do well, what's the point? And then the issue of cosmetics is that it is an extraction shooter, so then you think in your head, if I go out into the world with my cosmetics, I can't lose those cosmetics. Obviously, I paid real money for them, you know? It'll be interesting to see how they implement monetization, or if they just do a full release of the game and it's a full price game, they don't really have an in-cash shop. Just because it's hard. Like, I guess skins on certain weapons maybe makes sense, but if you're finding them out in the open, like, it feels weird that, like, your gun will have a skin on it if you find it, but someone else, when they pick it up, it will be different. You know what I mean? It feels like that would be hard and would be kind of break the immersion in a way. And the other kind of clouded thing in my head right now is that the last 2 games they've released, Destiny 2, these really massive games, when they first came out, they were quite hollow. Everyone loves Destiny 1 looking back at it. People are a little burnt out on D2. Both games, the first year, I would probably assume for both, it was a long time with like very little content in some ways and people wanting more and just feeling like there wasn't enough. And so I just have a little worry with this, that when Marathon is released to the public, people are going to obviously be excited, go try it out, go play it. But once they kind of play it enough, that there's just not going to be enough to kind of get into it. You know, if that makes sense? Those are the 2 big worries I have. I mean, replayability, extraction shooters have a good base of replayability, like BRs, just kind of wanting to go into the world, getting goods out. I feel like they're going to have something for what you do with the resources that you get while you're out there, weapons, guns, any resources or artifacts or whatever they talked about, because they had said something about putting artifacts together and selling them for a higher price or something. So it'll be interesting. Obviously, there's a lot we don't know, but it's fun to kind of, think about what it could be. I'm so excited for this game. I'm hoping that the worries I have are just like irrational fears. It is modern 2023 gaming, so I mean the monetization obviously we'll see. Bungie is gonna want to make a bunch of money. People are really fed up with Destiny 2 with how its monetization is going right now. We'll see. I mean, it looks amazing. The reveal trailer was like fucking perfect in my eyes, just to build hype with the game. But yeah, those are my initial thoughts now with Marathon. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking of for Marathon. If you're excited, if you have some worries, what you think is going to be kind of the thing that keeps you coming back to playing it. It's a new Bungie game. It should be fucking fun at the very least. But very different video. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed. Consider subscribing. I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I hope everyone has a great weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday. Peace out.